So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can submit a passport if you've gotten your original passport request. If you've submitted your application for your study permit or your visitor visa or your permanent residency in Canada, and you've gotten that good news, which is, we've made a decision on your application. Now we're required to submit your passport for further processing. This is an amazing news. This is one of the best news you can actually get. But how exactly do you go about submitting your passport? So it might be different for different countries, depends on how you're submitting. So for the purpose of this video, I'll kind of do a bit of general thing, and then I'll make specific reference to my country of origin, but it's going to be the same for everybody. Now, once you've applied for your study permit and you get that passport request, the first thing you have to do is to first download that passport request letter and then look for the nearest visa application center to you, right? So for those in Nigeria, it might be Lagos or in Abuja, okay? Now, for those in other countries, they also have VFS or Visa Application Center. So just look for the closest one to you. There are two ways of submitting your passport, okay? You can actually do the in-person submission, where you take your passport and the letter for the passport request letter, and then you go to the visa application center and submit there, okay? These days there's a lot of rules around it in terms of, when I did mine in 2017, yeah, I just went there and I submitted the passport. I didn't have to book an appointment. But these days, when you want to go submit your passport in person at the VFS office, you have to book an appointment. But I would still advise you check with the VFS of your country if they still require you to submit your to book an appointment. Okay, so when you book an appointment, on the day of your appointment, you go to print out your passport request letter and also your international passport, which at least 6 months validity. That is usually the best option. There is also be a consent form. You can actually download this consent form on the website of the VFS. Okay, so basically it's like you're authorizing them to send your passport to the Canada visa office, because the visa application centers or the VFS, they are not actually the embassy. They are just representatives, right? And most times they even have, for example, the one in Lagos and in Abuja in Nigeria, they have not just Canada, right? Whether you're applying for Italy, I think some European countries like that, and Australia, that you go to, this is where you're going to do your biometrics and a whole lot of other things, right? So you check with your country, right? So you take your VFS consent form plus your passport and the passport request form. You take it there and then they're going to submit it, okay? Now, there is what they call the transmission fee. If you've already done your biometrics in that same VFS office, then that's going to be fine. You don't need to pay any other transmission fee. But if you are doing your passport submission in a different visa application center from the one you did the biometrics, then you're going to pay a separate you're going to pay another transmission fee, okay? That's one step. Then if you are, now when you have submitted your passport there, now when the passport is ready, they're going to send you an email that your passport is ready for collection. So when you can actually go there and pick up your passport yourself, or if you want to use a third party, maybe your brother, your sister, to to help you collect the passport, then there's going to be more like a consent form that they're also going to fill to authorize the third party representative to pick the passport on your behalf. But if you're going there, you don't need to fill that form for someone to help you to pick it up, okay? There is also the second way if you're going to be submitting it via courier, okay? Now, which means you don't really want to go to the VFS office. You want to send out the passport, via DHL or UPS or any other, posting company. So what you're going to do when you get there, then you're going to first hold your passport, of course. Then you're going to make a photocopy of the biodata of your international passport. I think like 1 or 2 copies. Then you're going to need the consent form as well. This consent form is also to still authorize the VFS to send your passport to the Canada visa office. Okay, now this is where it gets very tricky. Okay, people have asked, can I do a two-way, maybe just pay the DHL or the UPS and they just do everything at once and bring it back? So these days, the way to do it is when you finish everything with the DHL, they just focus on sending it to the VFS. Okay, now this is just an advice that I would give. When you get to any DHL or UPS or any of these courier service, please inquire about if they are very familiar with sending passports, to VFS, because you don't want to do it. I know someone that did of recent, and the DHL where the person used, they're not really familiar with how the process works, and they just sent it like as a regular document without even the consent form. And then after about 1 week or 2 weeks, something like that, then they sent the passport back to the person that is not complete. So you have to actually avoid that. So I would recommend go to a DHL or a UPS. If you want to go to the center very close to the VFS office, or if you see any DHL office that is very familiar with how to send a passport, then by any means, just use that. Then there's going to be like another form. I think it's about SMS, for them to communicate with you via SMS, I think. Then maybe via email as well. You also need to fill out that form. And then when you get to the UPS where you're going to send it, a couple of things. They're going to ask you if what is going to be the return address. Okay, so the return address is going to be the address that you want the passport to be sent to. Okay, but for you to do this, the VFS, there is a there's a courier return, one-way courier return ticket or return. So with the VFS, there is a one-way courier fee that you have to pay if you want them to send the passport to your house directly. So there are 2 things here. Now, number 1, you're paying the DHL or the UPS to send the passport to the VFS, and then there's going to be there's an account number on the VFS website and then they're going to tell you the fee as well. So you pay that, put the receipt of what you have paid in the form, so that when it gets to VFS and they open the passport, they will see the return courier service that you've paid. If once you've paid them, they're going to use any of their courier service to pay it. So they are not the one responsible. They are not giving it directly to DHL, or UPS. You're not deciding which is going to be the return. Okay, so you just fill in the return address. So once they get everything and then the passport is back, they are going to send it to the return address. But if you did an in-person and you don't want to pay for the return, then you have to go there by yourself to go collect the passport. So what I'm going to recommend you is, this is just an overview, so please go to because a lot of things changed very recently, so go to the website of the VFS and see if something has changed. As at the time this video is made, this is kind of the current thing. Just to summarize, 2 things. Either you're doing in person and then you just go there, get your passport form, your request form, your international passport consent form, and submit it over there, book an appointment. And then if you're doing the courier service, during the via courier, you don't want to go there, put all your international passport, the biodata page, consent form, and then if you want them to return it to you, also make the payment. There's an account number on their website. Just type in VFS Global and then you can send just do a transfer, print out the receipt of the payment and add it to the courier, fill up the consent form and the SMS form. They're going to tell you how to do all of those things, and then that's it. You don't have to do anything. Once it's ready, they're going to send you an email that is ready for collection, and then actually somebody can do this on your behalf. You know, you don't have to do it yourself if you can't, or maybe you have a brother or your sister that is closer to any of the office, and you send your passport to them, you know, then that's by all means definitely an easier option. So please do wait to check their website if there's any other updated ways of submitting your passport. So congratulations once again, and I wish you all the very best. Please try to submit your passport as soon as possible so that you don't miss the because I think it's around 30 days to submit your passport after you get your request. So do it to submit your time, and then once VFS gets the passport, especially via courier, they're going to give you a receipt, and then you can use that one to track. Even though you submitted over there by yourself in person, they're still going to give you a tracking number so you can keep tracking your application. And then when your passport is ready, go pick it up and then book a flight and come to Canada. So that's going to be it for this video. If you haven't subscribed, do wait to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and then if you haven't liked this video, like this video, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.